Hi everyone, this is Sheryl from Gemstyle. I wanted to share with you a tutorial on how to make one of my 6x6 mini albums. I've been asked by a couple of people how to make them, and I am finally at a point where I am able to do that. So I know I have some other tutorials that I promised to do, and I do promise to get to them, but this one was first in line after the other projects that I had pending. So I should be knocking the rest of those tutorials out in the next couple of weeks. So this tutorial utilizes a 6x6 page so that there is plenty of room for paper. I mean, not paper, but plenty of room for a nice size picture. It has pockets and it has flaps. It's not too involved only because, you know, for people who aren't scrapbookers, you know, it's simple as best. So it does have a little flips and things like that and nice little pockets, but for the most part, that's it. But it is a really good size album and it does fit a lot of photos. So I have 3 baby showers to go to. Well, actually 2 now because I went to one this past weekend. I did not get a chance to finish it, and that's this right here. You guys are seeing the pages, the inside pages for it. But I told my cousin that I would get it to her, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get it to her this weekend. I have another one this weekend and then another one coming up in 2 weeks, and they're all having boys. So I don't know what's in the water, but at any rate, let me go ahead and just show you really quickly. This is the first page of the album. And so what it looks like is, as the first page, this piece right here is a flap. Here's a pocket here that comes out. And these aren't glued down or adhered yet. So I'll show you guys that in a minute. But this actually flips up. Here's a page here. You flip it over. This right here will hold 9 photos once you untie it. And once you adhere this, the tag will fit very nicely in there, okay? Also in this album, as you flip through, you'll come to 2 parts of the album that will flip out like this and flip out like this, and you still have the tags at the top, okay? And then also at the very end, on the very last page, there is another piece for a photo spread, and I believe this is the one that holds 7 photos, I believe. So like I said, this album does pack in quite a few photos. So let me go ahead and get started. You're going to need 6 base pages, okay? And those base pages are 6x6. So for the base pages, what you're going to need is 3 pieces of 12x12 cardstock. And because I'm using the DCWV Baby Boy stack, I use craft cardstock because to me that seemed to be, it worked the best. It complemented it the best. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll need 3 sheets of 12x12 paper. Okay, with these 3 sheets, what you're going to do is you're going to cut them in half. So you're going to cut them down to 6x12. Okay, so you'll be left with 6 pieces of 6x12. Of those 6x12, you're going to take those after you cut it. You're going to take the 6x12 and you're going to score it in the middle at 6. Okay, I've actually gone ahead and cut everything down already so that I'm not holding you guys up by cutting and scoring and things like that, just to make it easier. So, but I'll also, in the video, I'll edit it so that you'll see the dimensions across the screen too. Okay, so this is a 6x12 piece of paper here. It's scored in the middle at 6. And all you do is fold it over and reinforce your score lines. Okay, so you will have 6 of these once it's all said and done. And again, as I said before, this is your base page. Okay. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take an 8.5 sheet of paper, okay? You're going to cut that down to, let's see, you're going to cut that one down to 4 1/4 by 8.5. All right, so when you cut that down, you wind up with a piece that looks like this. All right, and what you're going to do, this 4 1/4 by 8.5, you're going to score it in the middle at 4 1/4. So when you fold it over and reinforce your fold lines, it looks like this, okay? Now, what this is the beginning of your 9-page, your 9 little photo pocket, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and you're going to cut it down to 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. And that will look, I can't believe I put that up just this quick. I caught myself having everything out so that I would be able to show you guys what I was doing, and I put them up. Oh, bear with me, guys. Hold on one second, please. because I just had those pieces of paper out. These are not it. Ah, here they are. I found them. Okay, so what you're gonna have is your piece right here. I'm sorry, that other piece was not the right one. So 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Okay, so you'll fold that one in half. All right, and this is gonna be your base piece right here. Then you're gonna take a 4 3/4. You're gonna take an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet. You're gonna cut that down to 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. So it will look like this. Okay, and then what you're gonna do on the 4 3/4 side, you're gonna score it 1/2 inch. Okay, so you see that? That's scored already. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm folding this over, reinforcing my score lines. You're going to need 3 pieces that look like this. And what you're going to do is you're going to adhere it to the top like this. So you see how it's starting to form, it's starting to take shape. Okay. All right, so I'm not actually gluing these down because I've already glued it down for the other 2 that I'm using. So I'll show you guys those in a minute. So it starts to look like this, and as you fold it in, you're getting that look, and then I just adhered it down with some ribbon to keep it in place. Okay, so ultimately, once you're all said and done, and to glue it, I use my ATG gun. Okay, once you're all done, this is what it looks like, and I just rounded my corners just because I like that look better than I just like the straight edge look. Okay, and on the back, if you see, you'll see that you'll see the flaps, and you see those on 3 sides. And all I did was I mitered my corners on the flaps just to make it easier when you adhere them down. Okay, and if you notice, you only have 3 because the first one that you cut, because you scored it in half, you have your 2 flaps already. Okay, and it just folds over. You fold it whichever way you like. If you like it, you know, the 2 and then the front and then the bottom and then the top, however you want to do that. Okay, so that's what this one is. So I'll go over the measurements again. You need an 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, and you are going to cut that down to 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. Okay, you're going to fold that over. I'm sorry, you're going to score it on the 8 1/2 side at 4 1/4 and fold that over. Okay, and that starts out your first piece of the spread. All right, and then you're going to need another 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper, and you're going to cut that down to 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so what you're going to do is on the 4 3/4 side, you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch and then reinforce that score line. You're going to miter your corners, just clip your corners on the side. So all I did was I just did this. Okay, and then I used my ATG gun and just put some tape down right here, and then I just adhered it down. Okay, so that way I didn't have any problem with it lifting up or anything like that. And keep in mind that when you actually adhere your papers to these flaps here, you're going to leave a little bit of a border, and also this back piece is what's going to be adhered down to your base page. Okay. All right, so the next thing that you're going to need is you are going to need 2 12 by 12 sheets of paper. Okay. So with your 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you're going to cut that down to 6 1/2 by 6. All right. You're going to have 2 of those. And what this is for, these are actually for your flaps. All right. So once you cut it down to 6 1/2 by 6, you wound up with something like this. And with this, you're going to score it on the 6 1/2 inch side, a 1/2 inch. Okay. And these are your flaps. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys are going to need 4 of these, not 2. So when you cut your paper down to 6 1/2 by 6, you'll wound up with 4 from those 2 12 by 12 sheets of paper. Okay, and these are actually going to be your flaps. So again, 2 12 by 12 sheets of paper, you're going to cut them down to 6 1/2 by 6. You're going to score it at a 1/2 inch on the 6 1/2 inch side. Fold that over, okay, and then make sure that you miter your corners on the side so that you're able to glue it and it adheres better. That right there, once you do that, again, let me show you guys which piece you guys are doing. That is this spread right here, okay? So it opens up like this, and then this side also opens up like this, okay? So you'll have a 4-page spread all at the same time. All right, so that's what that side looks like, or should I say that's what those flaps are for. Okay, so now, after you do that, now you're gonna need one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Okay, so with your 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you actually will be cutting that down to 9 by 9. Okay. So once you cut your 12 by 12 sheet of paper down to 9 by 9, you're going to score it on one side at 4.5, rotate it, and then you score it at 4.5 again, okay? If you see my score lines, that's what those are, all right? So what this is going to be your 7, like little flip pocket, all right? So all you're going to do is, once you have your, you've done your scores, or, you know, scored your paper at 4.5 on both sides. What you do is you're going to fold it. Now, this is just what I do. You guys can do whatever you want to do, whichever one is more comfortable for you. I actually fold mine first, okay? And then you're going to take your scissors, and you're only going to cut from the ends of, from the bottom of one of your folds to the intersecting line. Do not go any further, because this allows you to be able to fold it up, okay? So again, you're going to cut from here only to the intersecting line, only on one. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm only cutting just to the intersecting line. Sorry about that. Only to the intersecting line, and that's it. I just like to fold it ahead of time. You don't have to, it's not necessary. So this way you can fold it like this and then fold this down. However you decide that you want to do it, it's totally up to you. You know, however you want it to flip out once you're done. Keep in mind, one of these bottom squares is what's going to be adhered down, okay? So you have to figure out how you want this to open up. So if it's, you know, down like this, do you want it to open up this way first and then down and then over? Or do you want it to open up the opposite way? Or, you know, up. Do you want it to open up first and then over? You know, it's so many different ways that you could do it. You just have to figure out which way is more comfortable to you, which way you like the best. All right. So, let's see. So again, those pieces, again, on this one, I actually rounded the corners as well. And I like to have, because it's going to be on the back page, so you flip that over to the left. Because of that, I like for it to open to the left. So the way mine will be adhered down, it will be adhered down like so that this piece opens like this. This will open down, and then that will open over. And again, like I said, you can put this piece right here wherever you want in the book. I just happen to have it on the back side of the page that actually opens to the left, and this one's going to be on the very last page. So it's totally up to you how you guys want to do that, okay? All right, so then the next thing that you'll need is you're going to need, from your scraps, because you should have plenty of scraps left over. I believe you should have a like a 5.5 sheet by 12. If I'm not mistaken, you should have a couple of those. I believe 2 of them. So of those 2, you're going to cut those down to 6 by 5.5. All right. So when you cut those down, it'll look like this. All right. So 6 by 5.5. So what you're going to do is on the 6-inch side, you're going to score that at a 1/2 inch. Fold it in to reinforce your score marks. Make sure that you miter the ends of your corners. And these are going to be your top flaps. I only use 2 top flaps, one on the first page and one on the last page. If you guys want to use more than that, by all means, go ahead. I just, you know, that's the only place that I wanted it to be. Okay. So again, it's going to be 6 by 5.5, and these are from your extra scraps that you have left over. And then what you're going to do is you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch on the 6-inch side. And so when you do that, you fold that down, reinforce your folds, miter your corners, and this is now your top flap. Okay, let me just show you guys how that looks really quickly. So this is the base page right here. This will be your top flap. right on the inside right here. And so I know it's a little hard to see because it's craft on craft, but will you focus? See if the camera will focus. It's kind of hard, but you have a border here, here, and right there. Okay, so that's the way that'll look. Now, for the binding, to be able to bind your pages, I've never tried Laura Dennison's from Following the Paper Trail. She has something that's called the Stack the Deck. And then Kathy Order, which is who I normally use from Paper Phenomenon, she has the hidden hinge. Well, I was searching because I didn't always like the hidden hinge system. And so I found this lady online on YouTube, and Ozagran, I believe it's her YouTube name, and she's calling hers the stacked hinge. And what it is a combination of Stack the Deck and hidden hinge. Okay, so I'm actually using that one, and what happens is that you no longer have the flaps to the side, but you have the stability of the hidden hinge. Okay, so this is what it looks like. This is set up for six flaps for 6 pages, and with this one, it gives you a little bit more openness for you to be able to have more than 6 pages, for your gusset to be bigger than the 1/4 of an inch, which is usually what the hidden hinge is. Because a 1/4 of an inch usually isn't big enough for me, I went with a 1/2 of an inch gusset, so that I would have room for all intents and purposes, the ones that have the 9-page, photo spread, or the 7-page photo spread for the, the little flaps. Those tend to be a little bit chunky once your album is finished. And usually a 1/4 of an inch isn't enough to do that justice, for you to be able to have enough. And then sometimes if you put a chunky embellishment, a 1/4 of an inch definitely is not enough. So this is what I use. And again, her YouTube name is Ozegran, and I believe it's Ozagran, and she's calling this a stacked hinge. And I'll make sure that I leave a link in the description box below. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and you're going to cut that down to 5 7/8 by 12. Okay. And the reason it's 5 7/8 is because you need this to be slightly smaller than the 6 inches. All right. So, let's see, I'm at almost 18 minutes. You know what? I'm going to stop this, and I'll come back with how you put this together. Okay? All right. So I'll be right back. Sorry about that.